All right, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you all so much for spending your lunch hour with us. Today, we are going to announce the winners and celebrate our 90-day challenge that took place from the end of January until the end of April. Next slide, please.
And Pa, I think you need to be a little closer to your computer. The sound quality is still a little iffy.
Okay, I will.
Perfect, that's perfect.
Okay, I'm having some technical issues over here. Let's see here. Linda, can you keep hitting the slides because of there we go, thank you. So my name is Pa Shasky. I wear multiple hats like many of you do. But for today's presentation, I am the resource and project coordinator for the 90-day challenge. And in the chat box, I would love to welcome everybody. If you can please type your name, the organization or coalition, breastfeeding coalition that you're from. And then our icebreaker question today is, if you were famous, what would you be famous for? So go ahead, I'll give everybody a quick minute to fill that in. If I were to be famous, I think I would be famous for my home canned dill pickles. I've been home canning for the last, almost 5 years now, and I think I've perfected it.
I don't know why it's doing that. It's going to full volume. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. And then if you could also mute your lines. Thank you so much. And I'm sorry for all the dings. I'm co-hosting with Linda, and so when there's somebody who's waiting, I get that ding as well. So I apologize for that if it's disturbing. All right. So in the chat box, if you can please put your name, your organization, and one thing you would be famous for. Ooh, I see Lefsa. I love Lefsa. And now that we aren't in the office anymore, I don't get to taste it from my coworker anymore. All right. If you're just joining us, please mute your line. And then in the chat box, please put your name, introduce yourself, your organization or your breastfeeding coalition that you are a part of. And if you were famous, what would you be famous for? As we are waiting for introductions to roll in, I do want to do a little bit of housekeeping. This is a celebration event, and so I'm hoping that we will all use our reactions for applause, thumbs up, smiles. So if you in your house and you hover it over the screen, or you move it over the screen, you'll see that on the bottom of your screen, there's a bar that goes across. And if you click on that, you will see there's a clap, there's a thumbs up, there's emojis that you can use. There's a little ta-da emoji. And so I'm hoping as we go through, feel free to use these emojis and these reactions. Perfect. Next slide, please, Linda. So the facilitators, again, my name is Pa Shasky, and then of course we all love and know Linda Kopecki. She's the outgoing NBC Interim Executive Director. Next slide. All right, so what was the 90-day challenge? So this was where we wanted to present a fun way of gathering local data, promoting workplace rights around lactation. We wanted to be able to support employers in educating them and helping them to better support their employees and their staff. Ultimate goal was to increase the knowledge of the Women's Economic and Security Act. And of course, I have to say a shout out to our partners at the Minnesota Department of Labor and Industries. This was a grant from them. And then I think there's one more bullet point there, Linda. The timeline was from January, the end of January to the end of April. Next slide, please. So what happened during this 90-day challenge? Well, as all of you may know or may have partook in some of these activities, go ahead and you can just click, Linda, so that the bullet points come out. Thank you. You helped submit different resources so that the Minnesota Breastfeeding Coalition could start gathering and making a clearinghouse of materials and methods that were tried and true locally as well as nationally. We had 50 challenge kits that were created, put together, and then disseminated to different organizations and different lactation coalitions throughout the state of Minnesota. Next bullet point. Thanks. There were 14 $100 vouchers that were requested, and these vouchers were in the challenge packets that were requested. And so if you ordered or if your coalition had ordered a free challenge kit, this voucher was in there. You could use it to jumpstart any activity and or save it for a later activity that may happen in August. Thank you. 12 new videos were created. We will be viewing them, maybe not all of them, but definitely we'll show you where to access them. And we'll view them in a little bit in this event. 6 social medias, specifically Instagram posts, were created to kind of push and highlight resources that were being added to this clearinghouse of materials and methods. And then there were 2 office hour events that were held in partnership with the Minnesota Breastfeeding Coalition, Workplace and Child Care Subcommittee, and with staff from the Minnesota Department of Labor and Industry. So thank you all who participated, who facilitated those work office hours, and those who came to learn. Next slide, please. All right, so now I'm going to turn the time over to Linda, who will share with us these new workplace resources and videos.
Thanks, Pa. So I think first I want to recognize a few people on this call. And then we're going to look at the videos. So first of all, we have members of the Workplace and Child Care Subcommittee on this call. These are your experts. These are the folks who have done a ton of work in workplace support, working with child care. They know human resources. So Mary Cameron, if you want to turn your camera and raise your hand, Gretchen Etzler, and Karen Itzkortsky, and Pashaski. And did I miss anybody on the workplace and child care team? I don't think I did. And then I also want to recognize we have several folks from the Minnesota Department of Labor and Industry on this call. Thank you for the generous funding. Thank you for the constant support in helping create all these resources and get the momentum going. You know, our biggest goal was to just build momentum, get people excited about working with workplaces and childcare after 2 years of lots of stress and things being closed down and work being diverted. Just get some excitement going. And I feel like we got that goal was definitely achieved. So thanks to everybody. Another person who couldn't be here today is Lee Crone. She is with the Other Media Group, and she is the founder of the Other Media Group. And she's been our amazing partner with developing videos for about 2 years now, and maybe 3 years. And so it's just been really exciting to work with her and continue working with her. And I want to show you really quickly where you will find all of these videos. Let's see if I can find that page. I'm going to stop sharing really quickly so that I can show you exactly where it is. So this is it's on the NBC, it's NBC Events, our NBC Events YouTube page. So I'm going to put in the chat the link to our YouTube page. This is the playlist for all of our workplace and childcare videos. So this is the playlist. You will see some videos that we created last year, but know your rights. All of these videos are in English, Spanish, Hmong, and Somali. One is not. This is about employers. This is developed in partnership with Ramsey County, St. Paul Ramsey County Public Health. But you'll see that all of the videos are in the 4 languages. So when we say that 12 videos were created, it's 3 videos, each in 4 languages. So we're going to be looking at the 3 new videos that we worked with the other media group to create. So I'm going to get to the next page. Sorry. Juggling pages here. Here we go. So sit back for a few minutes. I'm going to play all 3 videos in English for you, one at a time. And these are all going to be available through that YouTube page, that playlist. You can use them as much as you want, but this is sort of the official unveiling. This is about the complaint process, how to navigate the complaint process when you're not getting your timer space.
You are entitled to specific accommodations for milk expression at your place of employment. If you aren't getting your pregnancy accommodations or your milk expression breaks, you can and should take steps to access your guaranteed rights. Milk expression at your place of work is important to keeping you on your breastfeeding goals. There are resources in place to make sure your employer is compliant in providing you with these accommodations. Educate your employer. Share information on the health benefits of breastfeeding and the Minnesota statute requiring accommodations. Be sure to document every interaction with your employer on this issue, including emails, texts, having witnesses, and/or journaling after in-person conversations. If you need to take it a step further, if you feel you are not being given the required accommodations, if you feel you are being discriminated against, retaliated against, or you just have questions about milk expression rights in the workplace, there are resources to help you. The Minnesota Department of Labor and Industry is available to answer any questions you may have about lactation in the workplace. These conversations can be anonymous. If the issue needs to be escalated, you can file an official complaint with the Department of Labor and Industry. They'll work with your employer to make sure they are compliant with the laws of Minnesota. You can ask for guidance from the Minnesota Department of Labor and Industry whether you are a part-time worker or a temp worker, whether you work for a small organization or a large corporation. They offer a hotline with multilingual services, and they never ask about immigration status. If you need to connect via email, we suggest not using your work email to do so. You can even call in with a friend, family member, co-worker, or advocate, such as someone from the Minnesota Breastfeeding Coalition, if that makes you more comfortable. Call the hotline or email the Minnesota Department of Labor and Industry to start the conversation.
So that's first video. The second video is about pregnancy accommodations in the workplace.
As soon-to-be parents, it's important for you and your baby to stay healthy and safe. That's why pregnant workers are entitled to certain accommodations at their place of work. Businesses with 15 or more employees, both part-time and full-time, are required by the state of Minnesota to provide the following for pregnant workers: more frequent breaks to use the restroom or for food and water, access to seating, limited lifting to no more than 20 pounds, and other accommodations or alternative duties that your healthcare provider recommends so that the work environment is safe for you and your baby. Making this work for different types of settings is important. Work with your healthcare provider to document your needs and talk with your employer about the accommodations you need. You cannot be disciplined or retaliated against for requesting accommodations. Staying safe in the workplace isn't just for the benefit of the expecting parent and baby. It also reduces risk for the employer as it keeps their employees safe. If you need help starting this conversation with your employer or would like more information about the laws around the accommodations in Minnesota, contact the Minnesota Breastfeeding Coalition.
And then the final video, and again, all of these are available in English, Spanish, Hmong, and Somali. This one is about the recent changes to the WISA statute, WISA Act.
Breast milk is the best food for your baby. It provides lifelong health protections for both of you. Being able to express milk regularly is important to keeping up your milk supply and avoiding plugged ducts or even mastitis. As of January 1st, 2022, your employer cannot reduce your pay for lactation breaks. Minnesota state law requires employers to provide employees with restroom time and sufficient time to eat a meal. Any breaks less than 20 minutes should be paid. Any break more than 20 minutes, like a meal break, is unpaid. What does this mean for lactating parents? It means your lactation breaks should, where possible, be the same as the regular breaks you receive during the workday. For example, in an 8-hour shift, many places will give you a paid 15-minute break in the first half of your shift. Use this time to express milk if possible. In an 8-hour day, you should also receive an unpaid meal break, longer than 20 minutes. If possible, use this time to express milk. During the second half of your 8-hour shift, you should receive another paid 15-minute break. Use this time to express milk if possible. This applies to any part-time or full-time legally employed worker for any size organization. If you are a contractor or employed by a third party, like a temp agency, you fall under that organization's and the temp agency's responsibilities. Questions about this can be directed to the Minnesota Department of Labor and Industry. If you need time outside of your regular paid breaks, your employer cannot cut your pay or require you to make up time used for a lactation break. If you need longer or more breaks for milk expression, talk to your employer. You can take lactation breaks for up to 12 months following your baby's birth. If you need help starting this conversation with your employer or would like more information about the laws around accommodations in Minnesota, contact the Minnesota Breastfeeding Coalition.
So, any comments about the videos? Any questions about the videos? And thanks again to Department of Labor and Haley Crown. And we also had 4 community advisors that were compensated through the grant to advise on the script and images and approach to all of these videos. So again, they're going to be available. Just look in the chat for the link to the playlist on the NBC Events YouTube page. And we will make sure that you have links on the NBC website, and you can easily access these and use these with all of your work. I also want to highlight some successful activities. So if we have representatives from these coalitions one by one, I would love for you to share your camera and to unmute yourself and to just give us a few minutes of your time giving us some details about your project. So the first one is from Polk County Breastfeeding Coalition, and I would love for them to share what they've been doing. I'm going to mute myself. So Tammy, I know you're here, right?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was on mute. Do you hear me?
Okay, let's start over. Tammy Khan from the Polk
Yes,
County
there you go.
Coalition.
You're
Go
lip
ahead.
reading. That's good. Yes, I'm Tammy Khan from Polk County Public Health, and I facilitate the Polk County Breastfeeding Coalition. So I think we're all good. So thank you for this opportunity to share about our recent project. The Crookston Sports Center is a large ice rink facility that supports sports for practice, and several community events are held there annually. And about a year ago, the new city administrator had dinner with a few women from the community, and a conversation started for the need for a designated lactation space at the Crookston Sports Center. Well, that started the ball rolling, and the city administrator reached out to Polk County Public Health for assistance. We toured the facility to find the right location for his designated space, and we found it. A long, narrow storage room that was about 8 feet by 16 feet, and it was filled with shelving units and totes, but it was perfect. It was on the main arena level next to the women's bathroom and very near the concessions. With the help of our local statewide health improvement partnership, which includes breastfeeding as a healthy eating strategy, a grant was issued to supply the room with a comfortable rocking chair, a side table, artwork, and the city provided a changing table, lamp, a small table and chairs, and most importantly, a lock on the door and signage. On March 10th, we held a grand opening event open to the public to celebrate this new space, which local media attended. We had muffins and fruit, juice and coffee, and balloons, all purchased from the $100 voucher from NBC 90-day challenge. And it was a lovely celebration, and it was right before the big ice skating show weekend and the Easter egg hunt, both which bring many young families. I also want to mention that the city of Crookston, including the Crookston Sports Center, had previously signed the pledge for the Polk County Breastfeeding Coalition's Anytime, Anywhere breastfeeding campaign to support public breastfeeding. They have breastfeeding welcome here window clings on all the main entrances, stating that breastfeeding is welcome anywhere, anytime at the Crookston Sports Center. And now they have even more signage and a private location for families if a lockable, free from distraction room is desired to feed or pump. We were delighted to partner with the city to assist in offering comfort for families to use this room now and for years to come. And it's a reminder for us all that having a designated lactation space at a community facility is important, and hopefully we'll have more locations to follow. So our work is not done. Remember, small conversations can lead to big ideas, even if it's mentioned while having dinner. Thank you.
So exciting. Thank you, Tammy. That was really, really wonderful. We'll need to have some photos because we'd love to have a photo, put a photo gallery on the NBC website of all of these activities. So thank you. Next activity to highlight is a Santee County Community Health Board promoting a new baby cafe program. And I'm not sure who is here to represent that one. I can't see who the participants are, but if you can speak to this project, please do.
Yes, thank you. This is Yvonne Siebert. I'm the Santee County WIC coordinator. And the person who actually coordinated the 90-day challenge, Tammy Hanks, is one of our public health nurses, and she is out of the office this week, so not able to attend this session. So I'm sitting in for her, but we have worked together on all of this, most of this anyway. So the 90-day challenge merged nicely with our planning for opening a baby cafe. We have been talking about a baby cafe for about 3 years, and on April 21st, we had our soft opening. That's just 4 weeks ago, 4 Thursdays ago tomorrow. And through that process of promoting the baby cafe, then we merged with that, promoting the workplace, the new workplace brochures for pregnant and breastfeeding women. So we did a lot of outreach to the community, apartment buildings, clinics, hospitals, daycares, preschools, laundromats. We had some students here, student nurses who helped us with some of our distribution of materials. We had a display set up in our government center here in Icebreaker County in Cambridge for the month of April that included information promoting the baby cafe as well as the workplace brochures. We had now currently there is a display set up in a local health club. And I realized that the 90-day challenge is technically over, but it carries on because Tammy has arranged to have a display there, including the same material. And she said that her observation was that people were taking some of the materials from our table, some of the breastfeeding materials and workplace materials, and reading them while they were on the treadmill or whatever, and then returning them to the table. So we know that the materials are being accessed. And with the funds that we received from the 90-day challenge, we purchased some booklets on breastfeeding for moms and dads from Noodle Soup and included those in our displays, and then purchased some balloons also to promote breastfeeding. That's part of the displays. In addition to the other outreach events that I mentioned, we also contacted all the local doulas and gave them information about the laws and the baby cafes. And there have been some other events like Best Dressed Children events, where there was a booth and a lot of materials were taken by people, and mailings and so forth. So that is what we have done. We are very grateful and excited to have been a recipient of one of the awards. And so we are planning to have our local SHIP coordinator present information about the laws of breastfeeding and pregnancy at one of our baby cafe events in the near future. And then also, we haven't really planned our activities for August yet, but this will definitely be an important catalyst for what we do. Something around our baby cafe, perhaps a shower, that will hopefully get a good attendance at. And so that's what's going on in Iceni County, and thank you for the opportunity to share.
Thank you so much, Yvonne. That was really exciting. And yet the name of the game for the 90-day challenge was to encourage trying to use new materials or new methods, creating partnerships, and just building motivation. And I've really heard that in both Polk County and then both Iceni and Iceni County too. Definitely gotten the ball rolling on a number of things. Thank you. The next highlight is Anoka County, presentation to a building community with multiple organizations to share lactation resources and assistance. We'd love to hear about that. Anoka County, take it away.
Hello, everyone. I'm Gretchen Etzler. I am one of the leaders of our Anoka County Breastfeeding Coalition. I do want to say thank you to NBC, though. It was really nice to have this opportunity to do this 90-day challenge. I know a lot of coalitions are probably in the same boat, that during COVID, you kind of just paused or slowed down coalition work. And so this kind of gave us an opportunity to have something to work towards and get people kind of motivated to do the work. So thank you for applying for the grant and then offering this opportunity to us. So we were able to do a couple of things, and one of them was one of our coalition members was able to present to a building committee for one of our Anoka County buildings that houses multiple organizations. They have a childcare, they have an adult-based learning center, they have a couple other organizations as well. And she was just able to present and let them know kind of what kind of resources are out there when it comes to supporting either those that visit their business organization or those who are employed by them. So she shared that the resources that are available, offered window clings to those that need them, and just let them know that if there's future assistance that they would like in creating those supportive spaces, that between the Breastfeeding Coalition and the SHIP grant, that we'd be able to help assist them with that. So short and sweet, but I think that it will make an impact, especially in the building that she was able to present to, because it just isn't a building that people probably have talked or heard much about breastfeeding or lactation support. So super excited. And then with our $100 that we received, we are going to be using that in August for the WIC celebration, breastfeeding celebration. So that will be really nice. And then we're looking at the additional dollars that we were awarded to go towards that probably as well. So thank you guys.
Thank you, Gretchen. So exciting, and really different projects, but all geared towards making sure that families don't have to choose between, working or whatever what they need is school or work for economic vitality or good childcare and optimal infant feeding. So thank you so much. Want to talk about the winners. This is super exciting. So
Linda, sorry
yes.
to interrupt. I also wanted to highlight and recognize that the Crow River Breastfeeding, or I'm sorry, the Crow River Area Breastfeeding Coalition submitted over a dozen breastfeeding champions for Linda and I to connect with and interview and learn more about their story. So I just wanted to recognize them as well.
And Wendy is here today, so we'll definitely have her speak to that, because I think that's a significant component when we're trying to work in our communities, is identifying champions. And champions are really at all decision-making levels. They aren't necessarily the business owners or the childcare directors. They can be people from all decision-making levels and all types of organizations. And it's your job as a coalition or in public health is to equip them to go as far as they can and to reach their potential within their organization in promoting lactation support, in making changes in policy or systems. So congratulations to the winners. I'm going to start at the bottom. And tier 3, so these are 4 coalitions that contributed a whole bunch of resources and activities. They each received $125 towards Breastfeeding Awareness Month, which is August, and either a t-shirt or 1 workshop registration. So everybody go to your little reactions and share your celebration for Asante and Northland and Washington and Quinn counties. It's super exciting, really, really great work that they did. The second tier, and these 3 coalitions contributed more. They did more activities. They contributed more items to the resource bank or did more in their communities. And they each received $250 towards Breastfeeding Awareness Month, and either 2 t-shirts or 2 come to workshop registrations. So that's Anoka and Olmsted and Polk counties. Hooray! Please use your reactions to share your excitement. And then the grand prize, and Whitney is here. And Whitney, I'm going to put you on the spot and ask you to speak to this. But grand prize is definitely the Crow River Area Breastfeeding Coalition. They were our leaders from the get-go and contributed not just resources and activities, but also they sent champions our way. And champions are so important for telling their stories and sharing their methods and their partnerships and their processes with others and inspiring others. So champions are really a big part of getting a movement rolling. So they received $500 towards Breastfeeding Awareness Month and 5 come to workshop registrations. And we'll be planning, NBC will be planning workshops in the coming months. So Whitney, if you wouldn't mind, we would love for you to speak to how you did it, and especially sharing your champions with everybody. That was such a significant part of your contribution.
Yeah, so I think we were a little bit more all over the place with the things that we submitted and the activities that we did, not quite as targeted on one activity. We've had a pretty active coalition. I think we were established in 2006, kind of took off again back in early 2018. And something we had worked on was, creating toolkits for daycares and businesses, resources to really just make it easy for them to become what we're considering here breastfeeding champions. We didn't always have a lot of momentum with that, but we've always had the resources available. Yeah, so a lot of those resources we were able to submit those to share with everyone, which is a good way, yeah, just spreading the resources around. I'm glad we were able to share those. With finding those champions, I think we were even a little bit surprised with what was out there. I know, especially through COVID, we kind of felt stuck. Everything was quiet. We felt like, are we really making a difference? Are we getting out there? So we just started making calls. Some of our coalition members have really great connections, with workplaces or different leadership organizations. So making calls, sending emails, and just identifying, do you have a space? Do you have a policy? And we were surprised. Quite a few did have an established space. And at the very least, they had it written in their policy that they will provide, the time or space for any breastfeeding employees. So any of those champions, we also did outreach and provided, the window clings, the door hangers, the resources, brochures from the toolkit. And then we used some of those dollars from the voucher to expand on one of our social media campaigns. We've really tried to focus on our Facebook page, kind of getting information out there. So we've kind of called it the Have You Heard or Did You Know campaign, where, we're doing Have You Heard and then posting like some statistics or information. So we took some of those social media posts and created posters. I don't know, it's kind of hard to see. So added those, I can share PDFs with you too as well, Linda. Added those to our toolkits as well for businesses to hang up in their, break rooms, public areas, or in their lactation spaces as well. So that was kind of exciting. And then there's QR codes as well on the posters that link back to our Facebook page, because we really want to try to grow those connections. We're really trying to focus more on community involvement as well. We do really well with, health department involvement and hospitals and clinics, but we're looking for more business involvement and community member involvement. So hopefully getting these posters out here will help make those connections. I think one of the other things we did was send a letter out to all of our local chambers or Chamber of Commerce. They have the connections with the businesses. And so just put some information out there. This is what's going on. We'd love to recognize you if you're a champion, or we'd love to work with you to establish a space. If you'd like to go ahead and do that, we've got some funding. And so, yeah, letters were sent out to chambers and we asked if they would share with their business members. So yeah, I think the word momentum was mentioned before, and that is, this project has definitely helped with that. I know we are a coalition that's always been, we've had big goals, big plans, never really focused in on one big thing, but I think, we've got momentum going here with this project and we want to keep going. Our coalition serves Meeker, McLeod, and Sibley counties. So I'm specifically in Sibley County, and just Monday I met with our SHIP coordinator and we've got a plan. SHIP has about $6,000 left in Sibley County to spend before October, and we've got businesses identified and we're gonna go in and see what we can do. So there's definitely momentum thanks to this project.
Thank you. Very, very exciting. Congratulations. You did
Thank you.
Excellent work. Your coalition has done excellent work, and I think that you'll be continuing to do excellent work. Very good. So please show your appreciation through your little reactions on your Zoom screen. And thank you. Thank you to everybody. I also want to provide an opportunity for anybody from the Department of Labor to speak. Just a quick comment. So as you may know, that I'm the outgoing interim director of the Minnesota Breastfeeding Coalition. I've already started my new job at the Minnesota Department of Health, and MBC is looking for a suitable replacement. And so I'm moving on, but I came from working in this field in Colorado for a number of years in the workplace and childcare. And one thing that was a source of frustration that I wanted to address in this grant was that often when in this work, we count who has come to the finish line, who is designated breastfeeding friendly. And that's what we count. How many organizations, how many businesses or childcare organizations can we get to that finish line? And not all the effort that goes into every bit of outreach, every bit of education, every relationship. And I wanted to use this opportunity to really count effort and to recognize effort. And I believe that that's something we've been successful in. But I would like to invite somebody from the Department of Labor just to maybe comment or just, we want to say thank you so much for the funding and for the guidance in this project.
Hi, everyone. This is Dave Scovold, and Jessica Groves, our Director of Labor Standards of the Partnership, is on as well. And Kate Perushek, our Assistant Commissioner, was here and she just stepped out. But yes, this is unbelievable. And we're so ecstatic about hearing everything that happened with the grant and the partnership. It's been wonderful. And we can see, you know, there was a hunger for this, and the timing seemed to everything seemed to be coming together. So the workplace brochures that a lot of you have seen and distributed, you know, on our end, we've had requests for over 15,000 of those brochures, and they're starting to come in from hospitals and from birthing centers and all over the place. So it's due to this group and to other, you know, others, and there is momentum right now, and that's exciting. You know, I know that this probably everyone here supported paid leave at the legislature, and we want to see change there, but for now we want people's rights respected and upheld, and we want to continue to be a partner. We hope to continue to be a partner with the Breastfeeding Coalition and all of you going forward. So thanks a lot.
Thanks. And I want everybody on this call to take a good look at the names of the folks from the Department of Labor. These are your partners too. These are not just partners of Minnesota Breastfeeding Coalition. These are your partners. So when we're working to make sure that families get their rights, the Department of Labor is absolutely your partner. So thank you, everybody. This has been a fantastic 90-day challenge. And everybody's going to be moving forward with a lot more momentum and resources and excitement. So thank you.